There is a particular kind of strength that never shouts. While headlines chase scandal and palace drama, one royal has spent more than 50 years doing the opposite, showing up, saying little and quietly carrying more weight than almost anyone around her. At 75, when most people are long retired, she walked into 2026 facing a question that would shape whatever years she has left: slow down or keep going exactly as she always has. The answer she gave surprised no one who truly knows her, and that, in itself, tells a remarkable story. Her name is Anne, the Princess Royal, the only daughter of the late Queen Elizabeth II. For decades she held an unofficial crown of her own. She was named the hardest-working royal in both 2023 and 2024, carrying out 433 and 457 engagements respectively, and she actually increased her workload by over 10% the following year. Most members of the family would consider that a punishing schedule for someone half her age. Hello. Then, as the new year began, something shifted. In 2025, the princess completed 478 engagements, a little less than the 532 logged by her brother, the monarch, meaning she had been overtaken as the hardest-working royal by King Charles. For a woman defined by duty, losing that quiet title might have felt like a signal. Perhaps it was finally time to ease off, to let the younger generation carry more. Hello. But Anne has never been one to read signals the way others do. Rather than retreating, she simply went back to work. Her first official engagement of 2026 was the Oxford Farming Conference on 8 January, an event for which she serves as honorary president and patron. No grand announcement. No interview reflecting on legacy. Just a diary already filling with commitments, exactly as it had been every January for over half a century. Hello. That stubborn consistency is the heart of who she is. Where other royals have stepped back, scaled down, or stepped away from public life entirely, Anne has stayed firmly in place, a fixed point in a family constantly reshaped by change. And as 2026 opened, the people who follow the monarchy closely began to sense that her refusal to slow down was not just habit. It was becoming a deliberate choice, one with real consequences for her brother the king, and for the future shape of the royal family itself. The decision she was about to make clear would not come with fanfare. It would come, as it always does with Anne, through action, through a calendar packed to the edges, and through a few plain words that revealed exactly where she stood. The choice at the center of her story is deceptively simple. Princess Anne has decided she will not retire. Not now, perhaps not ever in the way ordinary working life understands the word. For a 75-year-old who has just been overtaken in the workload rankings, choosing to maintain that pace rather than gently withdraw is a genuine decision, and she has made her view on it strikingly plain. Speaking about the idea of stepping back, she said she did not think there was a retirement program on this particular life. The line is pure Anne, dry, practical, and final. There is no sentimentality in it, no talk of sacrifice. To her, the role is not a job one clocks out of, but a permanent part of who she is. The decision to keep working in her mind is barely a decision at all. It is simply continuing. TV. Yet the timing gives it deeper meaning. Her brother, King Charles, has long favored the idea of a slimmed-down monarchy, fewer working royals, fewer public faces, a leaner institution for a modern age. Anne's choice to remain fully active runs quietly against that current, and she has not hidden her doubts. One royal commentator, Richard Fitzwilliams, noted that the princess has made it clear she disagrees with the concept of a slimmed-down monarchy that is associated with King Charles. TV. The experts who watched the family understood at once why she would not step away. Royal commentator Helena Chard questioned how Anne could possibly retire, arguing that a slimmed-down monarchy needs her, and praised her sharp mind as perfect for her work with more than 300 charities, organizations, and military regiments in the UK and overseas. In other words, the leaner the institution becomes, the more it leans on the very people who refuse to disappear. By choosing to stay, Anne is not only shaping her own future, she is helping to hold up the structure her brother is trying to streamline. TV. This is what makes her decision quietly powerful. It is not loud rebellion, and it is not a public clash with the king. It is something more durable, a steady, lived disagreement, expressed not in arguments but in attendance. Every conference she opens, every regiment she visits, every charity event she shows up for is, in its own way, a statement about what she believes the monarchy should be: present, useful, and unafraid of hard work. Those who admire her saw it immediately. As she entered 2026, royal fans described her as a trooper, with supporters praising her dedication and one writing that her work supporting the late queen and her causes was incredible. The applause was not for a dramatic gesture. It was for the opposite, for a woman who, given every reason to rest, simply decided not to. Hello. To understand why this choice feels so natural for her, you have to look back to the very beginning, and to an earlier decision that quietly shaped her entire adult life. Anne's commitment to duty did not appear overnight. Her first official engagement came in 1969 when she met Welsh soldiers at just 18 years old. From that moment, public service was not something she grew into. It was something she stepped straight into and never stepped out of. Hello. But the decision that perhaps reveals her character most clearly had nothing to do with her own career. It concerned her children. Anne is mother to Peter Phillips and Zara Tyndall, from her first marriage to Mark Phillips. Neither of her children holds a royal title or works as a royal, because of a decision made by their parents when they were born. In a family obsessed with rank and style, this was a remarkable break from tradition, a choice to let her children grow up as private people rather than as figures bound to the institution. Hello. Years later, she explained her thinking without a trace of regret. Reflecting on the decision not to grant her children titles, she said she thought most people would argue there are downsides to having titles, and that it was probably the right thing to do. It is a strikingly modern view from someone often seen as the most traditional member of the family. She saw a title not as a gift but as a burden, and chose to spare her children from it. The result is two adults who built lives largely on their own terms. Zara as a celebrated equestrian, Peter away from the spotlight, a quiet testament to their mother's judgment. Hello. That same independence runs through everything Anne does. She is known for being practical, no nonsense, and almost allergic to fuss. While other royals attract endless commentary about clothes, feuds, and lifestyle, Anne has built her reputation on the least glamorous foundation imaginable: reliability. The work itself is the point. And the scale of that work is genuinely staggering. She is connected to more than 300 charities, organizations, and military regiments at home and abroad. These are not ceremonial titles she lends her name to and forgets. She turns up year after year to causes that rarely make front pages: veterans groups, farming bodies, maritime organizations, equine welfare charities. The unglamorous corners of national life are exactly where she chooses to spend her time. TV. So when the question of retirement arrived, it landed on a woman whose entire identity had been built, decision by decision, around service over status. She had once chosen ordinary lives for her children over royal grandeur. She had chosen, at 18, a path of duty. Choosing now to keep going was simply the next link in a very long chain, and understanding that chain makes her refusal to stop feel less like stubbornness and more like the truest expression of who she has always been. So what does this decision actually mean for the years ahead? For Anne herself, it means a future that looks remarkably like her past: full, busy, and resolutely unsentimental. Her 2026 diary makes that plain. She was set to officially open the University of Gloucestershire's new city campus in mid-January, a facility built on the site of a former Debenham store that the university says will play a pivotal role in regenerating Gloucester city centre. It is exactly the kind of engagement that defines her: practical, community-focused, and far from the glare of celebrity. GB News. The pattern continued through the year. In May, she hosted the Not Forgotten Association's annual garden party at Buckingham Palace, spending the afternoon meeting military veterans, service members, volunteers, and charity staff, an organization that has supported injured and isolated veterans for over a century. Her support also reached quieter causes. The director of the National Memorial Arboretum thanked the princess for her thoughtful support and her recognition of the role such landscapes play in supporting well-being. Each appearance reinforced the same message. She has no intention of fading into the background. The news hello. For the monarchy, the consequences run deeper. The royal family is in a period of real strain, with fewer working members and ongoing pressure around scandal and reputation. In that environment, a senior royal who simply refuses to slow down becomes something close to essential. The slimmed-down vision the king favors depends, ironically, on a small number of people willing to do an enormous amount of work, and Anne has effectively volunteered to be one of them, indefinitely. Her decision steadies an institution that badly needs steadying. There is also a quieter legacy at work. By choosing service over spectacle for her entire life, Anne has offered a different model of what a modern royal can be. Not a celebrity, not a controversy, but a kind of public servant, someone whose value is measured in turnouts and causes rather than headlines. Her own daughter has spoken about inheriting that ethic. Zara has said her family has a great work ethic that she hopes was instilled in her and continues to this day, and that she hopes to pass it on to her own children. The decision Anne made about how to live is quietly being handed down. Hello. In the end, the historic moment is not a single dramatic announcement. It is something subtler and more lasting. A woman at 75 looking at every reason to stop and choosing, without fuss, to keep going. That choice will shape her remaining years, support a family under pressure, and define how she is remembered. History tends to remember the loud, but Anne's story is a reminder that some of the most consequential decisions are made quietly, lived out one ordinary engagement at a time, and that the future, sometimes, is changed most by those who simply refuse to walk away.